See, now you guys are going to question everything I say, because clearly I don't know what I'm talking about. Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to TV Twisters Moto. Now, before I even get started with the video, I need to say this is a follow-up to my last video. So this is a follow-up to my review. So if you haven't seen my review on the bike, then you should go back and watch that review. There should be a little card or something up here, if you can see my hand, telling you to click to watch the review. If you have watched the review, then this video will make sense and now you can watch this one. So why am I making a follow-up video to my review? Well, it turns out there's a few things I forgot to mention in my review, and there's also a few things that I've been asked in the comment section of my last video that I wanted to answer. So I thought I'll do a quick follow-up video just addressing some of those things. Now the reason I forgot to mention a few basic things is because I actually filmed the review twice. So the first time I filmed it, my camera was positioned incorrectly, so all you could see for the whole video was just the sky. You could just see clouds, you couldn't see the bike or anything, and the audio was really bad as well, so I had to redo the video. So in that video I talked about everything, but when I recorded the second video I forgot to talk about some of those things because I knew in the back of my mind I did actually talk about them already, just in the deleted video. So that's why I'm making another video. So the first thing I want to mention is really something I shouldn't have forgot to put in the video. It's a really basic thing. I talked about how uncomfortable I was on this bike after a while. You know, if I've been on it for half an hour or 45 minutes, I start to feel pain in my wrist, in my back, and in my knees. But I didn't mention my body dimensions, how tall I am or how big I am. So I thought I'll do that now. You know what, guys, I'm putting the mirrors down. There you go. But yeah, as I was saying, I forgot to mention how tall I am. So I am 6'1". I'm actually taller than I thought I was. I'm 6'1", so that's 185 centimeters, I believe. And I don't know if this is important, but in terms of how much I weigh, I'm a heavy boy. I weigh 130 kilograms, which is about 286 pounds or 20 stone. So that should give you an idea. As I'm saying this, you should be seeing a video of me sitting on the bike in different positions and flat footing it. As you can see, if you've already seen that, I can flat foot the bike very easily with a bend in my knee. The seat is pretty low. It's a very easy bike to sit on, if I'm being honest. But yeah, hopefully that little clip gave you a better idea of the positioning of the bike. Now, I also want to clarify something that I said. So I said that for me, the bike was uncomfortable. Now, just to edit that, or to clarify that, so I'm just rubbing off some of the rain. It's raining a bit, so there might be some water stuff on the lens. But yeah, let me explain what I meant by uncomfortable. So for me, I'm a very sensitive crybaby. So what most people would find comfortable, I will still find something to complain about because I'm very sensitive. So most people, if not all people, think that this is a very comfortable bike. Just for me, it is a bit uncomfortable when I've been on it for a while. So I'm not saying that when I jump on it now, like right now I've been riding for about 10-15 minutes, I feel fine. I'm as comfortable as could be. But when it gets to about 40-45 minutes straight, so that's riding straight without getting off the bike once, then I do start to feel a bit of pain in the wrist, in the back, and in my knees. And that's what I mean when I say uncomfortable. Now let me tell you a story of when I went to the dealership to sit on this bike. I know I said in my review that I didn't test ride the bike, which I didn't, but I was able to sit on one in the dealership. And I was speaking to the salesman, and I told him that I have issue with the CBR650R. I found that bike to be a bit uncomfortable, and he was very surprised because, as everybody knows, the CBR650R is a very comfortable bike. Despite it being a sporty looking bike, it's very comfortable. And when I said that, he said to me, you know, perhaps maybe the CBR650R isn't the bike for you because it's even more sporty and lean over than a 500. Then he said he's surprised because most people could ride on a 650 all day. He said he himself, he was an older guy, but he said even he could ride the bike all day long and be perfectly fine because it is a very comfortable bike. But for me it wasn't, the 500 wasn't very comfortable, and this is even less comfortable for me personally. Just gonna squeeze through here. Hopefully you guys can hear me because there is a lot of wind today. It's funny because he was actually trying to dissuade me from buying this bike because he could tell I wasn't very comfortable on it, and even myself sitting on it, straight away I could tell, yeah, this is less comfortable than my 500R. But because I was only on it for a little while and it had been a while since I was on my 500, so I thought, you know what, maybe I can hack it, maybe I can soldier up and just deal with it. It won't be that bad. And yeah, now that I've ridden the bike a fair bit, it is worse than I thought it would be. But just please keep in mind, this is not an uncomfortable bike. You should sit on one. That's the best thing I can say. Sit on one before you get one, because that will give you a good idea as to if it will fit you. But yeah, if you're sensitive like me, if you're a bit of a crybaby like me, which I'm sure you guys aren't, I'm sure you'll be fine. The bike's all right. All right, now I don't want this video to be super long, so I'm gonna quick fire, point and shoot at the things I forgot to mention in my last review. It's funny, I said that the last review wasn't a proper in-depth detailed review, and yet still it was 26 minutes long, and that's with me forgetting to mention things. So imagine how long a detailed review would be. So the first thing I forgot to mention, I didn't talk about the levers in the last video. I've got, I don't know if you can see them from this angle, I've got these ASV levers. They're obviously not the stock levers, and they're great. I like these levers a lot. I like them more than the stock ones. Now I know what you're thinking, how would I know? I don't have the stock ones. But as I said, I did sit on a CBR650R in the dealership, and I felt the levers. I was playing around with them, squeezing them and whatever, and yeah, they felt so cheap and awkward. They didn't feel very nice. These ones have some nice textures on the outside. They feel nice and sturdy and proper. I really like these ASV levers. But the ones that were stock, another reason why I'm pretty familiar with the stock ones is because I think they're the same levers that's on the CBR500. I think most of those Honda bikes use the same levers anyway, so I'm pretty familiar with those levers, and yeah, they're nothing to write home about. So yeah, you might want to change the levers if you do get this bike. If you're not fussed, then obviously they work fine, there's nothing wrong with them. But these ones, these ASV ones, I love them, and I know a lot of people might not like these because they're the long ones. You know, normally when people change their levers, they get the shorty ones. But because I use my whole hand, I don't use the whole 2-finger clutch thing. I use my whole hand anyway, so the bigger the lever is, the better for me. So yeah, that's all I've got to say about the levers. Talk about the brakes. The brakes are great. I said last time in the review that the exhaust was the best thing about this bike, but you know what, I love the exhaust, and yeah, it probably is the best thing for me. Well, I have an Akrapovic exhaust, if you don't know. That's the best thing about the bike, but the brakes come in a close second. Like, I wouldn't think a bike like this, I mean, it's a 650, it's not the strongest or fastest bike in the world, and it's not the bike with the biggest budget either. I mean, it's a relatively cheap bike. So I don't think it's even made in Japan. I think this bike is made in Thailand. So I was surprised when I felt the brakes, especially that they're the same Nissan brakes that are normally on these cheaper Hondas, but these brakes are insane. They're so good. They surprised me how good they are. I don't know if this is a good thing, if it's credit to the brakes, but when I first got the bike, you know, obviously I got a new bike, I was excited. I had to push it to its limits to see what it could do, and I was going pretty fast on the motorway, and there was some lane changing action that happened, and I had to very quickly squeeze on the brakes, and I clamped down on the brakes hard, like I squeezed for dear life, and I expected the ABS to kick in, but the ABS didn't even kick in. Like, the brakes just slowed the bike down, nice, controlled, but quickly, and it didn't even need the ABS, and I was squeezing pretty hard, and the bike stopped so easily. I was so surprised. Like, the brakes on this bike surprisingly are very, very good, very good. So I'm very happy with the brakes. Let's talk about the clutch. Now, I'm pretty sure that changing the levers don't change how the clutch feels, so even though I've got these ASP levers, the clutch should be, I mean, exactly how it would be stock. Now, I watched a lot of other YouTube videos. One that stands out is Chase on Two Wheels review of the 2019 version of this bike, and he hated the clutch. He thought the clutch was really bad. So I was expecting to get this super awkward, hard to use, really light clutch. This clutch feels alright. I don't see nothing wrong with this clutch. It feels like any other clutch I've had on any other bike. I'll be honest, the only thing I could say is that it is not as strong as I would expect it to be. Like, normally, you know, in a manual vehicle or a bike, if you go on the clutch, you just slowly release the clutch without using any gas. You can get the vehicle or the bike to move, to roll forwards. This bike can do that, obviously, but it doesn't do it very confidently. Like, it doesn't do it very strong. Just the clutch on its own doesn't really go anywhere as much as I would like it to. So that's the only thing, but I mean, that's not that big of a deal. I mean, just use some gas and you're fine. So maybe that's just something wrong with my particular clutch, but yeah, the clutch on this bike is not as strong as I expected it to be. Right, that's it. I was trying to remember what I have to talk about. The suspension. I don't know how I forgot to talk about the suspension. That is very crazy of me. Now, I'm not going to get technical about what type of suspension it is, because even myself, I don't really know. I'll be honest, I haven't gone into detail. I know these are Showa suspension on the front forks, and there's some suspension obviously on the back. The back suspension, it feels fine. I mean, I can't say anything about that. It feels great. The front suspension though, it's not the best. You know what, whilst I'm stopped, let me tell you what I'm on about with the clutch. So I'm going to use the clutch now to go forwards, and the bike is rolling. Okay, actually, I take it back. I don't know what I was talking about. Okay, scrap that. The clutch is fine. Ignore what I said about the clutch. The clutch is fine. Good clutch. It pulls strong. Maybe I was just being stupid before. Okay, now that I've been proven wrong, back to the suspension. See, now you guys are going to question everything I say, because clearly I don't know what I'm talking about. But yeah, back to the suspension. The suspension up front, it's a bit rough, I'll be honest. I wish it was a bit softer. I don't think you can adjust these. They're not bad, it's fine. It will do the job. You're not going to die or anything. Yeah, it could be a little bit softer. It knocks you about a little bit, but that's just me being nitpicky. I'm just trying to have something to say, to be honest. It really isn't that bad. Suspension, it's alright. It's not bad. Now, if you wanted to know something else about the bike, just leave a comment and I'll answer it best I can. And if there's things that you think I should have mentioned that I haven't mentioned, just bear in mind that, as I mentioned in the review, the full review that I did, this isn't meant to be a detailed review. I know it's very long, and now it's kind of, this is like a part 2. I know it was a very long review, but it wasn't what I would call a well-edited, well-detailed, you know, properly done with a lot of information. It wasn't a proper detailed review. It's just meant to be a quick light review of a few things that I've noticed since I've had the bike in the first 2 or 3 weeks. So sorry if there's things that you wanted to know that I haven't got to. I will definitely get to them when I do the full review, which will be some months down the line, or after I've put a decent chunk of miles on the bike. I hope you didn't see me struggling to get down the gears there. I panicked. Before I end the video, I need to shout out to those of you who have left a comment, to those of you who have subscribed. It's been great. keep it going. I've got more videos coming, got more fun things planned, maybe some more informative videos. To be honest, I didn't really plan to make a review or anything informative. I just wanted to get a GoPro, stick it on my helmet and just record myself riding for the fun of it whilst I say a bunch of random nonsense. But hey, if I have got the bike, I might as well dish out some information if I can. Maybe it will help someone who's trying to make up their mind as to if they want this bike or not. So if I helped one person make up their mind, then I'll feel good. I'll feel good. But yeah, stay tuned, more's coming. I have to give a special shout out to NYO Tips. I hope I got your name right. You were the special person, the first person to comment on one of my 650R motovlogs, so big up to you. I really appreciate that. Thank you for all the tips you gave in your comment. It was really great. And yeah man, welcome to the channel. And to the rest of you, same goes to you. Thanks for checking out the channel and subscribing and whatnot. Again, if you've got any questions or you want to know anything, just comment. I mean, I'll answer all the questions as best as I can. Now I have one extra thing I want to talk about. I probably have done it in this video as well. Now, I never used to record myself riding that often, but I've noticed something by watching back my footage that I've been editing. For some reason, if you watch back my review, I do this really weird, awkward, cringy thing where I spam the indicator like this. Like, if you can see me, like, for no random reason, I'll just be going straight, and for no reason I just start doing this. Now, I'm pretty sure I've never done that before. I don't know if it's because I'm filming a motovlog and I'm a bit nervous because I don't know what to say, and it's just like a comfort tick. I don't know why I do that, but if you go back and watch the video, you'll be surprised how many times I do it. And the worst thing is, I was doing it so much more in the video. I had to edit out or edit around all the times I was doing it because it was so embarrassing. Just for no reason, I'll just be spamming the heck out of the indicator button. And I haven't been paying attention to it so far in this video. I've probably been doing it this video as well. So whilst I'm recording motovlogs, because I'm pretty sure I don't do it otherwise, or maybe I do and I just didn't notice. But going forwards, I'm gonna try and make an effort to not touch the indicator switch unless I need to, because it's really weird and distracting, and I'm sure a few of you noticed that. So yeah, that's another thing I wanted to say, because it really weirded me out. Like, I was so freaked out when I saw myself doing that. On the way home, I might as well pick up a few little bits and pieces for the bike, some maintenance stuff. I'm pretty sure my bike has no coolant in it, like zero coolant. I checked it before I went on this ride and I was like, yep, there is no coolant in that tank. There's a tiny little pool at the bottom of the whole tank. So I'm gonna see if I can grab some coolant and some stuff to maintain my chain. I know what you're thinking. I said I have no coolant and then I ride like that. Yes. Hey guys, guess what? I pulled up to the store and I realized I didn't bring a bag or anything, so I can't even buy what I wanted to buy. Typical me. Alright, well, guess I'm gonna have to do that another time, and I'm gonna end the video on that sad note.